Welcome all to the Weekly Outlook. Bernie here from EWPRO. So getting straight on to the Weekly Outlook, but before I do, I just want to say that we're getting into the Christmas period and we're going to start to see lower volumes, which means that we're going to get bigger moves in the market because we have lower volumes. So it's going to be very risky if you're trading between now and the new year. People will be starting to go on holidays. So getting on to the weekly outlook, starting with the DXY on the daily, we got that I was looking at A, B, C. We never got that C down. And this wave up in here has gone too far, like I've mentioned over the last few weeks. So I'm looking at W, X, Y. We're waiting for this X2 and then we look for that Z up. Now this wave up in here may still get up to that 161.8 before it gives us that correction into the X2. So if we go down to the H4, we were looking for, on the H4, we're looking for that W, X, Y, X2, and then the Z up. The Z up never went and broke that top, and we're getting a larger correction in here. So I'm starting to think that we're in that daily X2. We're starting to get that daily X2, and we're looking at that 38.2 fib retracement. It's quite difficult. We got to move down, so I'll be looking at this as like an A. All this is a B, whatever happens in here, and then we get that C down, back down to this 38.2, and then we get that Z up. Then you can look for that Z up. So you're really only scalping, and if you're scalping, you're scalping that sell down to that 38.2, and then you'll be looking for that buy. AU on the daily. So we're looking at that, if I just zoom in a bit. So we're looking at that W, X, Y, X2, and we're looking for that Z down. It hit the first target, the 123.6, and it still possibly can get down to this 161.8. We've lost all, like I said last week, we lost all our bullish divergence. So I'm sort of looking for a correction in here and then more downside. I'm sort of only looking at this as a correction to give us more downside and then give us that bullish divergence. On the H4, we got that A, B, C up, clean off that 100 pip there, and we got the big move down. We got a lower low, and we got a lower low on the MACD. So I'm looking at a correction in here for more downside. If we look at the H1, we can look for a buy setup. You can see what I've got here, just a simple ABC. It's not really playing nicely. I got in down here and got in another one here and got out up the top, around the top here when we started to get this. So I'm out of those trades. I was sort of looking for an A, B, C in here, back down to the 50 fib to trade that C up. So we really want to see, I would like to see an A, B, C in here, some sort of a correction in here I can trade, and then a buy set, some sort of a buy setup to buy that C up. And it's only scalping. Like I said, we're getting into Christmas, and you know, we can get a lot of volatility with the low volumes. Looking at EU on the daily. So this is pretty much the same as DXY, like I've been explaining. This wave has gone too far. I was looking at an A, B, C. We never got that C up, and then I was looking for another one down. We never got this one here has gone too far, and we've got a W, X, Y. We're looking for that X2 and then the Z down. pretty much exactly the same as DXY. On the H4, looking at this WXY, looking at the X2 and then a Z down. So I'd be more inclined to, I mean, you can scalp the C up in here. It's going to be very risky. I'd be more inclined to wait for this to break the top, draw your trend line, and then wait for some sort of a bearish setup and look for that Z down. GU on the daily. This one's we're looking at that A, B, C. It's just about got to that 100 fib, that first target. This still can go lower. We've lost all our bullish divergence. So this still can creep lower down to this 161.8. Looks like on the H4 that we're running out of steam. We've got this bullish divergence, like I said last week. We're looking at an A, B, C. And we've got all this bullish divergence and we're breaking out of this trend line here now. So I'll be more inclined to look for a buy setup, and you'll be targeting, I'm actually in this buy already, and I'm targeting this 50 fib here as my first target. I'm not really expecting it to go and break the top, but more of a correction up to the 50 fib and then possibly more downside sort of. But if you do get any buy set up, I'll be more interested in looking for the buy and targeting that first targeting that 50 fib retracement of this move here down, because we have that bullish divergence, trend line break. If you get any bullish setup, look for the buy. NU on the daily. So this one here has become quite tricky as well, like I've been mentioning the last few weeks. Looking at an A. Then I was looking for the B and a C down. We never broke the low here, which made it difficult. And then we got all this. So like I said last week, I'm looking at this as an A, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then possibly 1, 2, sorry. So a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a 3, 3, 5 pattern in here before we get that larger A, B, C as some sort of large running or expanding flat for an A, B, C. Looking at the H4, we're still waiting for this X2. So we've got a WXY. We're looking for that X2 and then a Z down. Now this may be an A, B, C in here for a running or expanding flat in here, and then we get that Z down. I would really like to see it get up to this 38.2 retracement to give us a risk reward to trade that Z down. If you have a look on the H1 quickly, it's giving a buy set. It's more of a buy setup. We've got 3 down in here. Got a trend line break. You're getting a little flag here. Look for the buy, and you'll be first targeting that 38.2. Get it to break even, because we are in a correction here in an X2 on the H4. So get it to break even and just target this 38.2 and then start looking for the sell setups. UY on the daily. So looking at that A, B, C, we never got up to that 100 fib. We're still within this trend line. And while we're still within that trend line, we've actually lost our bearish divergence here between the tops. So we don't have any bearish divergence, which makes it difficult H4, we got that Z up. We're looking at W, X, Y, X2. We got the Z up. We got a lower low here. So you can really only look for sells. I'll be looking for a correction in here and then look for your sell setup. We have all this bearish divergence. So, and we got the lower low here. So you can really only sell while this top holds. While this top here holds, you can only really look for sells. Swissy on the daily. So we completed the structure here. This wave here, it didn't go as far as I would have liked. I would like to have seen it go up to that 100 pip, but this wave up in here did go and break that top for the A, B, C in here, and then we've got that larger A, B, C. We have all the bearish divergence. So we're looking for downside. We're looking for more downside in this wave C down to finish off the B wave. On H4, it's quite tricky still. Like I've been saying for the last few weeks, we got this possible bull hidden here. So this still can go up and break that top. I'm more interested in the sells because on the daily we have all that bearish divergence, but there still is that chance that this does go and break that top because we do have that possible bull hidden. So it's quite risky. On the H1, we really have nothing. And this sort of looking like a correction in here. Now, is this over? Is it an A, B, C, and it's over? Well, we got this move down, another move up, and we're sort of getting this, you know, it's very choppy. So I'm more interested in the sells. So if you do get a little bearish flag in here, I'd look for the sell to at least break that low. Definitely want to be at break even at that low. Just hold it, and you could just hold it for the daily C down to finish off that B wave. That's sort of what I'm looking at. I have been looking at this pair for a trade setup, and it's just not giving me any setup to get into the trade. But that's what I'll be looking for. UCAD on the daily. This is quite tricky as well. We're looking at A, and like I've been saying for ages, whatever's happening in here is all corrective for an A, B, C up to the 100 pip. Now, is this over? You know, if you look on the H4, we're looking at that W, X, Y, X2, and then a Z up. We do have that ball hidden, so we are looking for that Z up. This here, it's not ready to go. I don't think this is ready. I'm looking at an A, some sort of a B, and then a C down, and then look for that Z up. I really want to see some sort of a structure in here before, and confirmation of this ball hidden before I can trade that Z up. So really, you know, you could look for a C down on the H1, like an A. You're getting a B, you could look for that C down. Just as a scalp, you definitely want to be at break even at the break of that low, and then look for your buy. If you get this C down, breaking that low, then you can start looking for your buy setups for the Z up on the daily, on the H4, sorry. GY on the daily. So we're looking at that WX, Y, X2, Z up. We hit that first target. We got the trend line break. So like I said, we're looking for a correction in here to sell down to that 50 fib. We're targeting that 50 fib. We want to see price action give us a correction in here without breaking the trend line and then giving us that move down. On the H4, it's difficult because we have an A, B, C down to the 100 fib, and we have bullish divergence. So do we get a larger correction in here like I'm looking for on the daily? Well, that's what I'm hoping for, because then we can all look for that sell. At this stage, I would be sort of, you can only scalp this. You're only scalping it because it's going to be very choppy. I'm expecting it to be very choppy in here. You are sort of getting a buy set up. It's very risky. Like if you're looking at an A, B, C, you know, very risky. I'm just staying out of this pair until I get that larger correction on the daily, and then I'll be looking for that C down or that move down to the 50 fib retracement. Looking at EG on the daily. So we got that W, X, Y, X2, Z down. It's become difficult. We do have that bullish divergence though on the daily. Then on the H4, it's become extremely difficult. Like I said last week, we lost the bullish divergence, so we don't have any bullish divergence. And yet we went and broke that top, and we don't have any convergence. So it's really, there is no setup for me to trade, because it's not giving the structures I'd like. There's nothing I can really do with this. I can only look to leave it alone until it gives me something to actually trade. If we go on to the H1, we've lost. You can only really scalp it. We had this A, B, C up in here. Then we got a high, and we lost all the bullish bearish divergence. So we lost all the bearish divergence, and now we're getting a possible bull hidden. So the only thing you can really do is go down onto the lower time frames and scalp it. You can only buy it while this low here holds. While this low here holds, you can only buy it because we have that possible bull hidden. So you could go onto the lower time frames if you're looking to trade this. You know, draw your trend line, wait for your break, bullish setup, and then look for the buy to break that top. Other than that, if it does come down and breaks that low and then gives you a bearish setup, well, you could scalp, you know, a C down. But yeah, it's not something that I would trade. It's too risky. It's too unclear on the daily. There's no structure. On the gold, again, this is very tricky. I'll go over it again. We've got a W, X, Y. We were looking at that as an X2. We had the bear hidden to go and break the low. It never went and broke the low. So then I was looking for the A, B, C. We never got the C up. Instead, we got this like some sort of a flat in here. Like I mentioned last week, this may be a running flat in here, and we get another one up for an A, B, C. It's become very difficult because we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So do we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down in here, or is it a flat in here, a running flat, and we get another one up in here? It's unclear. You know, there's a couple of different structures we can look at. You can trade those structures if you get the price action on the lower time frames, but it becomes risky trading these. So we got on the H4, we're looking at A, B, C. We got it up to that 100 fib. We've broken this trend line here now, but like I've been saying, we've got this bull hidden here still, that possible bull hidden. So there's nothing to say that this won't go and break that top. The only way you can really sell this is if this low here gets broken and then you get a sell set up. Well, then you can look for a sell. But while we still have this low not broken, we have that possible bull hidden. So, you know, there's nothing to say that this won't give that other one up. for that possible running flat, bullish running flat. You know, so yeah, trade accordingly. If you get a buy set up, well, you can look for the buy, but there's no real buy set up as yet. You really want that nice impulse up, flag or correction, and then look for that buy. It's staying down in here, so very risky to be buying or selling at this stage until you get the setup. Looking at WTI on the daily, we got that WXY X2 a Z up, just about got up to that second target 161.8, and we got this trend line break, but its price actions come straight back up. And if you look here, we do have possible bull hidden again, so this may still go up and break that top. We would have really liked to see this breakdown here, break that low, taking out that possible bull hidden, give us a correction, and then we could look for that sell down to that 50 fib target. Instead, it's making it difficult because we do have that possible bull hidden. On the H4, sort of looking at WXY, an X2, some sort of an X2, and then a Z down. We do have possible bear hidden here between, you know, this top and what's happening in here. So it's very difficult why this trend line here holds. You know, I'll be more interested in the sells because we do have that possible bear hidden. We don't have any bullish divergence, so there's nothing to say that price won't come down and break that low, this low here, and then that will take out that higher time frame possible bull hidden as well. So then we could look for that larger correction in here to sell. We'll have to see in the new year what we get. Looking at Bitcoin on the daily, so we got the Z up. We don't know if this is complete yet because there's that possible WXY X2 and a possible Z up, because again, we don't have any bearish divergence and we have the possible bull hidden. Why this low here holds, there's nothing to say that we can't go and break that top because we have that possible bull hidden. You know, the only way you can really sell this is if that low gets broken, then gives you a correction and you can look for a sell. But yeah, until that happens, it's bullish because we got the bull hidden there. Last week, like I said, we had that, if that was a bearish flag, if you wanted to get on, I think we were down in here somewhere last week. Last week I said, why this trend line here holds, you look for yourselves, and that's still the case because we don't have any bullish divergence. So you could look at this as an A. If you're looking to trade, you could trade this in here as just as a C up. You definitely want to be a break even if you do get a buy setup on the lower time frames on this and looking for like an A, B, C. You definitely want to be a break even at the break of that top, you know, because we don't have any bullish divergence. So I'm just be looking at it as an A, B, C in here for more downside. So yeah, SPX on the daily, this just keeps on wanting to go up. So yeah, we've reached that 100 fib and it's still going. This trend line here is still holding. Eventually I'm looking for that A, B, C back to the 50 fib. It's very risky to be buying, like I've been saying for ages. You know, we have all this bearish divergence in here and you're at the top of the market. It's very risky to be buying, but you know, if you do want to scalp it, you know, that's all you're really doing. H4, there's really nothing. Like I've been saying, when we were coming down here, it was very choppy. It's extremely choppy. That's why I had to sort of look at this as a correction, because it was so choppy. And as you can see, we've broken out. You got a nice flag in here, and you got a break. So if you do get in this, you can trade it just as a scalp, and you definitely want to be at break even at that top. You know, even take half off at that top. You know, but yeah, it's something you could scalp on the lower time frames, and yeah, definitely be a break even at that top. Yeah. AU 200 on the daily. So again, we got a trend line break on this one. We had all this bearish divergence. I was sort of looking for a 50 fib retrace at least, back down to the 50 fib of this move here. But we're getting some sort of a correction in here. It's very difficult to trade. We're sort of looking at this. We were looking for this up here. We're looking at A, B, C, and then we're looking at that A, B, C. So we may get a little bit more upside, breaking this top to give us that A, B, C, and then we'll be waiting for a sell setup to sell for the larger A, B, C. Looking at the DAX on the daily, we were looking for that again. You know, we're at a top, and we had this W, X, Y, X2, Z up to the first target. We got a trend line break, and now prices come straight back above the trend line. You know, we were just looking for a correction in here, something to sell, you know, back down to this 50 fib. Instead, it's gone back above that trend line, which is a red flag. So again, like I've been saying, oh no, this one did break that. We did have that possible bull hidden here. It did go and break that low. So that's taken out that. And we may even get a bear hidden here. I'll just check. So we may have a bear hidden here. Yeah, we have got a bear hidden, a possible bear hidden. So we got the lower low, and we're getting a possible bear hidden here. So this is looking bullish in here. So you may get another one up in here, and then you can draw this trend line if I go down onto the lower time frame. So on the lower time frame, you may get a wave Z up. So you're looking at W, X, Y, X2, a Z up, draw your trend line. If you get that Z up and you get a sell set up, well, definitely look for that sell. The FTSE on the daily. So this, I put out that trading view idea. I was looking for first, second, third target. Well, now it's become invalid. We got the break of the trend line, and I was just looking for a correction in here again, you know, to give us those, you know, sell setups down to those targets. Instead, prices come broken the trend line and then come straight back up. It's just about broken that top, I think. There's no way I want to be buying this, so it's very risky to be buying. We have all this bearish divergence. It's just, and we're at a top. It's extremely risky to be buying. Last week we were looking at a possible W, X, Y. We were looking at an X2 and then a Z down. We never got the Z down. We never had bullish divergence. We've broken out. We've got a bullish convergence. We've broken out of the trend line. So you can only really wait for a correction, and you can only buy to break that top. You have to wait for this correction. Whatever's happening in here, it'll be corrective. Wait for the correction to be over, bullish setup, and then you could look to buy. You definitely want to be break even at that top, and you're only really scalping, like I said, so much bearish divergence on the daily, you know, it becomes very risky. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you.